From India's capital, Delhi, I'm Tulika, and this is the Press Express In Depth podcast. India is halfway into the election season. 93 seats are up for grabs today in the third phase of voting that's going on. More than 1,300 candidates across 11 states and union territories are in the fray. And after voting ends today, India would have completed election for 283 of the total 543 parliamentary seats. But what's been happening so far? To give you a catch up on that, today I have with me acclaimed international conservative, political, economic, and foreign policy expert, Dr. Suvrokamal Dutta. Welcome, sir.
Namaskar.
Well, great to have you with us, sir. And let's dive right in. Voter turnout till 1 p.m. India time has been 39.92%. But in the first two phases of the election, the voter turnout dipped by nearly 3 to 4%. What do you make of this voter turnout trend?
So this is not a very worrying factor in the first and the second phase of election. The voter turnout in comparison to 2019 was definitely less, around two
Mhm.
and a half to 3%. But the reason behind this is the excessive heat wave, which is continuing across the country, and the weather
Okay.
has been very very bad. So that was the reason why there was less turnout. And 2019 was an exceptional case because we had the Balakot surgical strike, and
Yes,
also, there was a lot of problems with Pakistan. So that was an exception. But having
that's
said
true.
that, if we look into 2014 or 2009 and 2004 and now 2024, in comparison to all those election years, the voter turnout has been quite satisfactory in the first two
Right.
phases. And today it seems like it is going to be a much higher turnout because already it's around 40% by 1 o'clock. And
Yes, yes.
as far as my information and my reports, the reports which I'm getting from across the nook and corner of the country, it seems like by the time it's 5 o'clock, it should be somewhere above 65%, or might
Okay.
be somewhere between 65 to 70%, and that should be
Okay.
very, very satisfactory.
Okay.
Having said
Now, well,
that,
Anurag,
almost, yeah,
sorry
yeah.
to interject about the heat wave point. A lot of people have attributed it to the heat wave, which is there today as well. But there's also some chatter about this being a more muted election than what was expected earlier. What do you make of that?
I would not say that this has been a muted kind of an election. Yes, there hasn't been any hyper hope, or there hasn't been any kind of a hyper political, rhetoric in this election, like the way it was in 2009, or for that matter in 2019. The
Hmm.
election has been smooth, and the election campaigning has been very good, even though there has been rhetoric from both sides. But I think the rhetorics have been more from the Indi Garbandhan, and what the retort to that is by the Prime Minister, and the retort to that is a very logical retort being given by the
Yes.
Honorable Prime Minister. Today, after the completion of the third phase of the election, almost half of the seats of Bharatiya Parliament would be over, or the Lok Sabha would be over. And I think the way things are going, it seems that the PM has already won the election, election political theatrics as such, because my understanding is like the opposition hasn't been able to come to the PM on any issue. Rather, the opposition is giving the prime minister issues after issues after issues because of
Okay.
their mismanagement and because of their absurdity and because of their political stupidity.
Okay.
And
Well,
in my understanding,
I
yeah.
must add here that according to critics, there has been some visible shift against the BJP-led NDA camp from, what it was 2 months back, and especially compared to the 2014 and 2019 election, where there was this big Modi euphoria. Now, especially after the mixed voter turnout in the first two phases and now the third phase of the election, the critics are saying that the big Modi euphoria is not to be seen this time.
Well, like if I have to go by the logic of the critics, then I would question the critics in 2019 itself. like most of the news channels and most of the vehement critics of the Honorable Prime Minister, they were all saying that, oh, BJP is not going to come back to power. Like it's going to be a ragtag kind of a NDA government in which BJP alone with the NDA would be able to cobble up somewhere around 240 to 50 seats. That was the opinion poll and the exit polls that time. And then there would be more fishing out from the UPA and few pensators from the UPA, including the TMC. They were not ruling out the TMC also that
Yeah.
time, that they would
Mhm.
shift their allegiance and they would join the bandwagon of the extended India, but Modi ji would not be the minister, would be
Right.
some other replacement. This was the
Right.
argument which they were giving. And when the results came out, BJP alone scored 304 seats. The NDA together scored, the overall NDA scored around 236 seats in the lower house of the parliament. So,
Yes.
that in 2019 also they had same kind of rudimentary arguments. This time also they are giving same kind of rudimentary arguments. What I can say, and I can say with a lot of conviction, because we are not those five-star hotel analysts, who sit on the five-star hotel and on the payroll of any political party, they just giving sweeping statements. We are not of those type. We go to the ground, we travel around, and we see the reality with our own eyes. I can
Right.
say with a lot of conviction, because of the super track record of the Honorable Prime Minister, without any allegation of single corruption scam, no scam has been, uncovered in the last 10 years, and the fantastic governance which the Prime Minister has given. After this three-phase of election, I can say with a lot of conviction that, in my understanding, BJP alone has crossed 200 seats in the in the
Okay.
in the three phases now. So with
We'll discuss
how
this in more detail later, but my question to you is also about political campaigning, which you were mentioning earlier, which has been quite extreme from both the camps. The Congress-led, camp, the India bloc, is obviously going with the "save the country, save the constitution, protect democracy" rhetoric. And on the other hand, Prime Minister Modi has been doubling down on the Muslim quota issue and the inheritance tax. How do you see this polarization?
see, like, in relation to the Indi alliance or the Indi Gathbandhan, I always say that the Indi alliance has actually given all these issues in pleasure to the Prime Minister. If you
Mm-hmm.
look into the manifesto of the Congress Party, is not the Congress Party talking about redistribution of wealth? Of course it is. Shriman
Hmm.
Rahul ji is again and again saying about redistribution of wealth in the Congress manifesto itself. There is a line which says that the wealth of the country would be redistributed, and in that redistribution, the minority community, including other marginal, would be getting maximum benefit out.
Yeah.
When the Congress talks about minority community, we can correlate that with the statement of the from former Prime Minister of India, Dr. Manmohan Singh, when he had twice explicitly said that the national resources of the country should first go to the minority community and especially to the Muslims. That's one.
Hmm.
The second thing is, like, what have they done in Karnataka? They have brought in the Muslim within the OBC ambit, and they have given
Hmm.
reservation to the Muslim community. The Indian constitution, the Bharatiya constitution, doesn't allow reservation on religious line. Whenever Congress has tried
Okay.
this in the past, those were
Hmm.
struck down by the high courts, whether by the Telangana High Court or whether by the Hyderabad High Court or whether by the Kerala High Court. But Congress has been repeating this again and again. Second is,
Hmm.
like, the statements coming from the alliance partner of the Indie alliance. See the statement of Lalu Prasad Yadav. Is he not
Hmm.
advocating Muslim reservation? Of course he is. Mamata Banerjee
Hmm.
on record keeps on saying that my government
Yeah.
would give maximum benefits to the minority caste. Why? Because she says that the Muslim community are my dudel guy. They are my milking
Hmm.
cow. She has said this on record. You look into the position taken by Sharad Pawar. Sharad Pawar has also similarly said time and again that yes, minority community, especially
Yeah,
the Muslim
yeah.
community, should enjoy maximum benefits out of it. When the
So
Congress
this is
talk,
the BJP pivot. This is the BJP pivot. And you were earlier saying that we are connected on the ground. How is all this being received on the ground?
yes, it's resonating on the ground, and people are accepting what the Prime Minister is saying because there is logic behind it. When Shriman Rahulji, when he says that, we will go for an economic and financial survey, a wealth survey, and we will redistribute the wealth based on the percentage of caste group. He's talking about two things. One is caste census, and out of the outcome of the caste census, whichever caste is having less number of benefits from the government or less wealth, they would be benefited by giving the wealth from the people who are having more wealth. That's one argument which he's giving. Then he is
Mhm.
also saying that in out of that wealth survey, the maximum benefits would go to the minority community and to the Muslim community. That's one which he has been talking about. He's talking about inclusion of the Muslim community within the reservation ambit. But and for that, he would actually amend the existing laws because there is a cap of 50% on reservation here in India. So if he has to bring the Muslim community within the reservation quota, then what he's saying that we will amend the
Yeah.
laws, amend this constitutional provision because Supreme Court has given a cap on this. So which means a similar thing, similar to that of Shah Banu case, would be done, and additional quota would be given to the Muslim community above 50%. That is the
Mhm.
argument which he's giving, right? So
Okay.
Congress is talking on those lines. Prime Minister pointing out those is a sin. You do it, it is not a sin. Someone pointing it out to you, then that
Mhm.
person is a senior. I am doing this in your show today. I'm pointing out this misgivings of the Congress party. I would be labeled as a senior. Why? Because I have
Mhm.
exposed the duplicity of the Congress party on this. Then
Okay.
the kind of statements which are coming from ex-congressmen and ex-congresswomen,
Okay.
the Acharya, what has he said? He has said that Rahul Gandhi, once the historic decision on the Ram Mandir was given, Prabodh Krishnan, he has said that Rahul Gandhi had called his courtry and he was discussing as to how to do away with this historic decision of the Honorable
Mhm.
Supreme Court, similar to that of Shah Banu case, if they are voted to power in
Okay.
2019. Then
Okay. Okay.
Radhika,
Well,
just 5 seconds more.
sure. Sure.
Radhika Khera, then Gaurav Bhallav, they all have said that they have come out of the Congress because they had gone to do puja at the Ram temple, and there is no place for people who believe in Sanatan Dharma or those who follow the ideals of Lord Ram, and that's the reason
Yeah.
they have resigned from the Congress.
Right.
So
Right.
when I club up all these things together with the provisions in the manifesto of the Congress Party, I would say
Mhm.
that Congress Party is actually giving the issues to the Prime Minister, and Prime Minister is just highlighting those.
Okay. Okay. Well, 79% people, according to a recent Lokniti CSDS survey in India, have said that India is a country that is, for all religions equally. And only about 18% have said that India belongs to Hindus only. So one is that survey. There's also another CSDS survey that talks about the real voter issues, and it says that I'm quoting from here: 27% feel that unemployment is the biggest issue. 23% have said price rise is a big issue. Then there is development and corruption at 13 and 8%. And Hindutva and Ram Mandir issues are actually at the very bottom at 2% and 8%. So are we somewhere really making the right connect with the what the voters really want?
See, I have serious doubts about this modus operandi of this survey itself and the
Okay, this
institution.
is by Lokniti CSDS.
Yes, yes, the institution which has done this because there are questionable credentials about their political ideology. And we all know that which ideology Lokniti and CSDS actually advocate, So, like, there are questions, but having said that,
Okay.
even if
Actually, a
I
quick
said
disclaimer here that they don't support any political camp, at least out in the open or visibly.
that that
But yes,
that
that's what your
that
opinion
that
is.
that any agency would say it on paper, but one
Hmm.
can understand from the methodology which they use as to which ideology they promote. But even if
Okay.
I set that aside, and if I take issues after issues one by one, yes, this is a multi-religious, multilingual, and a multi-regional country. And our Prime Minister has again and again advocated this. He has said, Sabka Saath, Sabka Prayas, Sabka Vishwas. He has
Yes.
said a time and again that benefits of the government would go to everyone, irrespective of region, caste, or religion. And benefits have
And
gone.
data has shown that the benefits are
Yes,
going
yes,
to
have
all religions
yes.
and
It has gone to all religion, and the Muslim community has got maximum
yes,
benefits out of this. So when the track record of the Prime Minister is saying something else, such type of agencies advocating a line becomes questionable. That's one. The second thing is, like, if they say that Ram Temple or Ram Janambhoomi was not an issue, or Ram Temple is not an issue, the Pran Pratishtha ceremony of Ram Temple was not an issue, then I think it is just trying to be blind
hmm.
to the reality. The
Okay.
kind of the publicity which the Ram Mandir got, the kind of hordes of people who have come over for visiting the Holy Ram Temple speaks in volumes. So far, 16 crore people have visited the Ram Temple after the Pran Pratishtha ceremony. Can we just do away with the obeisance given by 16 crore people to the Ram Temple,
Hmm.
to Lord Ram, or will we say that this 16 crore people don't matter at all in the Indian electorate? I
Right.
cannot be so blind. I cannot be so blind like all these kind of agencies. Nationalism is definitely an issue. Infiltrators is definitely an issue. The kind of track record and the kind of tough measures which the Modi government has taken against terrorism is very much an issue. There hasn't been a single bomb blast in the country in the last 10 years. Prior to 2014, every second day there used to be a bomb blast, and innocent people used to die because of
Hmm.
bomb blast and because of terror attacks. This hasn't taken place. We have taken Pakistan head on in every international forum, so much so that it's because of the persuasive skill of the Indian government and of our external affairs minister and of our prime minister, that Pakistan is today badly cornered. It's exposed across the world. So
Hmm.
much so that the line which we advocate for Jammu and Kashmir, and the position of the Bharatiya government in relation to Jammu and Kashmir, that is exactly reflected by the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia also. That is exactly reflected by the President of United Arab Emirates, or by the Amir of United Arab Emirates. United Arab
Hmm.
Emirates today shows the whole of Jammu and Kashmir as a part of Bharat. The
Hmm.
Saudi Arabia, Crown Prince has again and again has said that the whole of the state of Jammu and Kashmir is a part and parcel of Bharat. So that
Hmm.
itself shows that all these tough measures and the tough positioning which BJP has taken and the Prime Minister has taken at the national and international level not only resonates at the national level with the people of Bharat, but it also resonates at the international level. So how can we say that these issues are
Okay.
not important in
And
India?
definitely,
You know?
India's rise on the global platform is something that resonates with all the people. But let's come back to the voting that's happening today. And I want to start with the state of Gujarat, which is the home turf of Prime Minister Modi as well as Home Minister Amit Shah. All the 25 seats there are voting today. What is your assessment of the voting sentiment? And especially I want to bring in the context of the recent the BJP recently faced ire there of the Kshatriya community when there was this remark by a BJP leader about the community having had roti and beti relationship with foreign invaders and the British in the past. Is that going to cause a dent in the voting sentiment somewhere?
No, I don't think so because the whole machinery of the Bharatiya Janata Party has condemned that, and the Prime Minister,
Okay.
in unequivocal equivalent terms, he has condemned it, and the party itself has distanced itself from that kind of remarks. Such type of remarks cannot be tolerated, and these are uncalled for. But having
Hmm.
said that, the Kshatriya community or the Rajput community, it decides in Gujarat,
Yeah.
today, if if they are voting for BJP or the whole Gujarati Samaj is voting for BJP, is not because of said work at a local level, but they are
Yeah.
voting because of the exemplary work being done by the Prime Minister, who is the son of the soil from Gujarat. So
Yes.
I do not have any qualms in saying, like the way in 2014 it was 25 seats for BJP, 2019 it was
You're
25
expecting
seats for the BJP.
complete
BJP, it's 2024 also, it will be 25 seats for the
all
BJP,
25
and
seats.
might be the vote share for the party in the last assembly election in Gujarat was 55%. In my understanding, probably this time the vote share for the party will increase by another 5%. And I do
Okay.
understand that it might be above 60%
Okay.
this time
Okay.
for
Well,
BJP.
Gujarat, anyways, the BJP is banking on blanking out the Congress completely. But how about Maharashtra and Bihar? Because these are two key states where the opposition is expecting some gain. What is your assessment?
See, in the case of Maharashtra, I really cannot figure out as to why this Halla bowl is going on in India. That
Yeah.
NDA is in a bad shape in Maharashtra. So if we do a comparative analysis of 2019 election, it was a landslide victory for the NDA, isn't it? For BJP and the United Shiv Sena. We all know that after the assembly elections, what happened and how things went wrong. I don't want to
Yeah.
go into that. But after that, the splits which have taken place in Shiv Sena, almost two-thirds of the original Shiv Sena has come and joined the Shiv Sena of the CM. It's
Absolutely.
only
Yeah.
it's it's only one-third, led by few fanciers here and there who are there with Uddhav Thackeray. So much so that the Election Commission of India has also allocated the original symbol of the Shiv Sena to to the faction led by the CM, not to the Thackeray. That's one. The
Mm.
second thing is like in relation to NCP also, same thing has happened with NCP also. Two
Too
third
much
of the NCP,
fragmentation and
yes,
splitting.
and two-third of the NCP has gone with Ajit Pawar, the nephew of Sharad Pawar, and the symbol has also gone with Ajit Pawar, and Sharad
Yes.
Pawar is left with only few members of his
Yeah.
family.
So,
And
so a lot of
Congress,
regional fragmentation here, but today
yes,
11 seats in Maharashtra are going. Yes, sir, please complete.
yes, and in relation to Congress in Maharashtra, right from Milind Deora to Chavan to anyone else, name any stalwart leader from the Congress, they have all resigned from the Congress. They have resigned from the primary membership of the Congress. They have either joined the Bharatiya Janata Party or they have joined the faction led by the CM of the Shiv Sena in Maharashtra.
Yes,
So
yes.
when the opposition is in such complete disarray, which is much more pronounced than 2019, where is the logic of BJP-led India not doing well in Maharashtra? When
Okay.
the opposition was completely united in 2019, this time also their performance was dismal. Their
Hmm.
performance was dismal even in 2014. So when they had such bad performances in both the Lok Sabha elections of 2014 and 19, and also in the assembly elections in
Hmm.
Maharashtra, where is the
Hmm.
question of they doing well this time? Like
Okay,
what
we'll
I
see.
understand is like is three-fourths of the seats in Maharashtra would be going to the BJP-led NDA. Sharad Pawar's
Okay.
NCP might land up with one or two seats, and Uddhav Thackeray's Shiv Sena might land up with one or two seats, and Congress would have a zero in the in
Okay.
the in the in
Okay.
the Lok Sabha elections of
Well,
2014.
that's a tall
So
claim, and we'll see. But today, the 11 seats that are going to vote in Maharashtra, I want to name this one woman leader, Supriya Sule, who is kind of coming out on top and standing out because she weathered the Modi wave in 2014 election. She, won with a 1.55 lakh voting margin in 2019 election as well. What's your assessment? Is she going to come out on top this time as well?
Well, I think Baramati is only the constituency where Shrupriya
Yes.
today is there in fight, and she would give a fight, and she might win also. I don't rule
Okay.
that out. Even if she wins, she would win by a much lesser margin. But winning or not winning itself is questionable. There is a tough competition for her, and it is not going to be a cakewalk for her at all.
Okay.
And out
Okay.
of these 12 seats, my only hinge is Baramati would have a tough competition. It could go either way. It could go to the NDA also. It could go to
Okay.
the India Alliance also. The rest other 11 seats, the opposition is nowhere in.
Okay. And what do you think about Uttar Pradesh? 10 seats of the massive 80 seat state are, voting today, and BJP has fielded five fresh new faces in the seats today.
Except for Dimple Yadav of the Samajwadi Party, she is going to give a tough fight, no doubt about
Yes.
that. And
And
this
she's
is
the
a
wife of the former Chief Minister
yes,
Akhilesh
yes,
Yadav.
and the constituency from where she is contesting, that's the fifth term of Samajwadi Party. But then it
Yes.
is not an easy cakewalk for her there also. The fight is
Okay.
going to be very, very tight, tough. She might just win by a whisker. We have to
Okay.
wait till the 4th of June to see the final outcome. But then the other seats where polling is taking place, I do not see any kind of fight for the Samajwadi Party, and
Okay.
including the other family members of Akhilesh Yadav. They would be giving a fight for the elections, but they will not win the seat. And
Okay.
for Congress, in the phase where the voting is taking place in Uttar Pradesh, Congress would land up with zero, even in this.
Yeah. Well, Uttar Pradesh is one state which is going to vote in all the seven phases. So we'll keep revisiting this trend later on. But very quickly, I also want to ask you about Madhya Pradesh, the central state in India, which is also very interesting because today there are three star candidates, two former chief ministers and Union Minister Jyotiraditya Scindia, whose political future is literally at stake here from Guna.
Yes, of course. These are Madhya Pradesh is going for a very high stake election, and three seats are very very high stake because these are VVIP seats. What I
Yeah.
understand is that Shivraj Singh Chauhan would not have any difficulty in winning the
The
seat.
veteran
In
BJP leader.
Yes, yes. And in relation to Guna, in Guna, there is going to be a fight, but every likelihood, Jyotiraditya Scindia would be winning with a comfortable margin. What I say is in relation to Chhindwara. Chhindwara,
Okay.
the fiefdom of Kamal Nath. Kamal Nath would be facing a lot of problem this time in Chhindwara.
Okay.
And I do not rule out even if Kamal Nath loses the election
Okay.
this time in Madhya
Okay.
Pradesh. My
But
understanding
India,
is
you're
like it.
saying, will win from his seat in Guna. And I must add here for our viewers, Cynthia is someone who fought from Guna in the last election on a Congress ticket, and he lost. And this time he's fighting from the same seat on a BJP ticket. And Dr. Datta feels that he is going to win this time.
Because
But yeah,
Tulika, the reasons are different. Last time when Jyotiraditya Scindia had lost the election from Guna,
yes,
it was 2019, and it was Balakot all around the country. So
okay,
that was the reason why he had lost, and they were rebel candidates also. That's one.
yeah,
The second thing is like this time he is within the BJP, and the euphoric win in the recent assembly election of 3/4 majority the BJP got in
hmm.
Madhya Pradesh, that is going to get reflected in the Lok Sabha election this time. And it is going to be a easy win for Jyotiraditya Scindia because he is fighting the election on the right side of the political spectrum.
Okay, okay. Fine. So we've covered the western states a little bit and some central parts of India. I also move on slightly to the northeastern region. Assam, I find it very interesting because four seats, the remaining four seats, are going to polls today. These are Muslim majority seats. And also, more interesting is that these are mostly Bangladesh origin Muslim voters. What are going to be the big issues for them on their mind when they go to vote today?
See, a large part of the illegal immigrants have been defranchised after the NRC and the CAA, which came from Assam. And many of them have lost their voting rights. That's one, because
Hmm.
they were illegal immigrants, and large number of them were illegal Rohingyas from Myanmar as well as from Bangladesh, and the rest were other illegal Muslim immigrants from Bangladesh. So they have lost their franchising. That's one.
Hmm.
The second thing is, like, in these four seats where elections are taking place, out of those four seats, like three of the seats are Muslim dominated, no doubt about it. But
Yes.
then there is going to be a triangular fight between Ajmal and also Congress and the Bharatiya Janata Party, that NDA, and
Ajmal is
in the
the owner of the perfume brand Ajmal.
yes, 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 yes. And in 2019 election also, there were a
Yes.
triangular fight, and in that triangular fight, out of the four seats, BJP had won three seats. And in
But in terms of
2014,
voter issues, do you think Amendment Act is something which is going to play out on their minds when they are voting today?
well, to the Hindu voters, definitely yes. And to the Assamese Hindu voters and the Bengali Hindu voters, definitely yes. That is
Mhm.
going to play up in their minds, that's for sure. Together with that, of course, the NRC is the issue in Assam, and that is also going to play a pivotal role. And of
Hmm.
course, the performance and the rapid development which has taken place in Assam in the last
Yes.
10 years, because of a double engine government of Modi ji and the BJP government in Assam. Assam has seen historical development. Assam has seen historic development in the last 10 years, which was never seen before.
And that
So
is true
there
of the
is
entire northeastern
an
region as
entire
well.
northeastern region.
Yeah.
For the first time, they feel strongly connected with the rest of Bharat, because
Yeah.
they have been incorporated with the mainstream identity, which was never done in the past. So all these are major issues, and Northeast has always voted for the strong political power at the center, and it has
Hmm.
been a history. Whenever Congress was strong at the center, whole of Northeast had always gone with the Congress. Now that BJP is strong at the center, the whole of
Yeah.
Northeast will be going with
Well,
BJP, and that
I
has
must,
been the history, and
yes.
this will be repeated this time.
Yes, and I must add here for the benefit of my viewers that the northeastern region, with today's voting in four seats of Assam, that will complete the voting for the entire northeastern region in the first three phases today. That marks the end of it. And this region has really come up in terms of development and connectivity, especially with neighboring Bangladesh in the last 10 years. And it has been seeing a lot of improvement in development and connectivity. But then there is the neighbor West Bengal, and what are the kind of issues that are going to play out there. The seats that are going to vote there today are also Muslim majority. And I want to quickly bring in the Sandesh Khali incident, which has become quite sensitive. um, uh, just very quickly explaining to my viewers, Chief Minister and TMC leader Mamta Banerjee has accused the BJP of hatching a conspiracy about Sandesh Khali, which is a small island in the Sundarbans. And there has been a sting video released recently, which shows a BJP leader saying that this was indeed a conspiracy, that local TMC leaders were accused of exploiting and harassing local villager women. So this whole thing has come out quite sensitively and playing a lot on the mind of the voters there. Dr. Datta, my question to you is, how important is it going to be in the votes that go out today?
Well, Bengal has got plethora of issues. You know, Tolabaji, cut money, then syndicate. Together with that, like the other plethora of issues which are there, the education scam, then
Mhm.
the Naroda Sharoda scam, the the Rose Valley scam, the innumerable number of scams which are there. Then there is also the sand mafia, the gold mafia, the cow mafia, and scams after scams after scams are getting unfolded in Bengal in the last uh, 13 and a half years of Mamata Banerjee's government.
Okay.
Sandesh Khali is another huge blot in the track record of Mamata Banerjee. the observation of the Calcutta High Court, the 246-page judgment of the Calcutta High Court itself has filled the beans all over, in relation
Mhm.
to the education scam, also in relation to Sandesh Khali. The Calcutta High Court has been very, very stringent on the Mamata government in relation to Sandesh Khali. It is only at the insistence of the Calcutta High Court that,
Okay.
the CBI inquiry was initiated, and like the person who was arrested, after 55 days, under the complete protection of the Kolkata police and the Bengal police. It is only
Okay.
the rapid slap which was given by the Calcutta High Court that finally Mamta had to, get the Sheikh and his stooges and his gundas arrested by the CBI and by the ED, you know.
Okay.
So these are something which are major issues. There are almost around 175, emails which have been sent by the victims of Sandesh Kali, by the women victims of Sandesh Kali in through private emails to CBI. And all
Mhm.
those, emails have been kept, secret by the CBI under a dossier. That dossier has been given to the Calcutta High Court as well as to the Supreme Court. The observation of the Calcutta High Court has been very strong on this. I have
Okay.
traveled in Bengal recently. I have been to many places in Bengal. The USP of Mamta Banerjee in the past was her woman voter as well as the
Yeah.
minority voter.
Yeah.
That was her
Minority
strong,
voters.
yeah,
And you feel the
that was a
minority vote is going to be fragmented this time in West
it
Bengal?
is going to be fragmented. Second thing is like the women voters who had blindly supported Didi. They are very, very, very antagonistic now with Didi, and the level of corruption which has taken place, including the recent job scam, in which lakhs and lakhs of eligible students have lost out because of the scam, and they have lost their job. Almost around 26,000 people have lost their jobs in the teaching scam, in the education scam. Who is
Yeah.
accountable for all this? It is Mamata Banerjee who is accountable for all this. It is her government who is accountable for all this. So
Well,
all these kind of issues have generated a kind of a tremendous kind of a negative kind of an image of Mamata Banerjee across the
okay.
electorate of Bengal. And I see this time that TMC is absolutely cornered. And that's the reason why Mamata Banerjee is giving all kind of statements questioning the independence of the judges of the Kolkata High Court also.
Okay.
Saying
Well,
that they are all being,
West Bengal is
yeah,
definitely an interesting state to watch. But
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
getting a
And
comment. And
just
so,
5 seconds, five
sure,
seconds.
sure.
Like in that, Mamata Banerjee has even said that the judges are in the payroll of BJP. So this kind of utterances
Yeah.
does not go well with the electorate. The minority community has also seen through the reality that they have been used as a scapegoat by Mamata Banerjee by generating a kind of a fear psychosis in them. So the
Hmm.
minority vote bank is going to be divided this time in Bengal. It
Yes.
is going to be divided between Congress, then Abbas Siddiqui and TMC. And
Yeah.
there is a complete polarization, a counter polarization of the Hindu community, which has taken in favor of the BJP. So this time, Didi would be facing a lot of.
So, polarization and fragmentation of minority votes is definitely looking to improve the prospects of BJP in West Bengal. I am getting a comment from one of our live audiences, Uzair, who is asking you about the geopolitical implications of the next Indian government for Southeast Asia and Southeast Asia's future.
Well, I think the track record of the Modi government for the last 10 years has been fantastic in relation to the South Asian countries, except Pakistan, and also in relation to Southeast Asia. We have a strong, cohesive relationship with the ruling government in Bangladesh. The ruling party in Bharat has invited, delegates from
Uh-huh.
the Awami League to come and see the, election process in Bharat. And
Yeah.
Awami League has already sent their representatives here in Delhi to observe the election process in India. So that itself shows as to how solid the relationship is between India and Bangladesh. We have fantastic relationship with Bhutan. We have very good relationship with Myanmar. Our relationship with Sri Lanka has improved tremendously after the huge economic crisis which Sri Lanka had gone through and the bailout which government of India had given to Sri Lanka. It has boosted the relationship in a big way. Maldives of late is trying to mend its ways. The
Yeah.
tourism minister of Maldives is
Yes.
almost in his knees pleading with the Indian government to send in more tourists. So that is also changing the contours there. We have lovely relationship with Southeast Asian countries, whether it's with Singapore, Malaysia, Indonesia, Thailand, Cambodia, Vietnam, Laos, name any country. We
Hmm.
have very cohesive, strong relationship. And the main thing is like all these Southeast Asian countries, including Philippines, and East Asian countries like Japan and South Korea and Taiwan, they all have huge problems with China. And because they have huge problems with China, including territorial disputes, like the way we have huge problems with China, they all naturally club towards India
Hmm.
as
Hmm.
a kind of an antidote against the Chinese hegemony. And
Yeah.
that is the reason why the relationship of Modi government in the last 10 years has been very cohesive and strong. And after the thumping win of the Honorable Prime Minister after 4th of June, I can give it in writing that our
Hmm.
relationship with South Asia and with Southeast Asia and East Asia will be much longer than what it is now.
Yeah.
Of course, we have settled issues to be settled with Pakistan, and we will settle those issues with
Yes.
Pakistan sooner or later.
And I must add here that for the Modi government, Bangladesh has always been identified as one of the key countries as its gateway for connectivity and more trade with Southeast Asia. So when the Modi government comes back with or without, the kind of margins or majority that we are talking about, it will be interesting to see how this relationship with Bangladesh forges forward in its geopolitical implications with Southeast Asia. I'm getting another comment from PL who says, whoever wins, India and Bangladesh need to resolve the long pending Tista River issue. What's your view on this? Because it brings in West Bengal state back into focus.
Well, Tulika, I believe in the past also I have spoken in details about this issue of River Vista. Our Prime Minister and the Prime Minister of Bangladesh has time and again said that all these issues will be solved and will be resolved amicably. We have solved the border disputes. The issues of the conclaves have been solved very beautifully. Together with that, many other pertinent issues which were there between Bangladesh and Bharat, all those have been solved. The only issue remaining now is of the sharing of the water from Tista River. So definitely, with the passage of time, this issue will also be solved. But we will definitely have to look into the issues and the legitimate claims of West Bengal on this, and we will not compromise on the legitimate claims of West
Yes.
Bengal. Neither we would victimize Bangladesh also on this. The genuine concerns of of Bangladesh would also be taken into account, and the legitimate concerns and the legitimate stake of West Bengal would also be taken into factor and amicable solution be arrived at.
Yeah.
My understanding is like in the new tenure of the Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji, I think this issue will also be resolved. It will be resolved in such a way, so much so that Bangladesh would also be happy about it, India would also be happy about it, and our dear state of West Bengal would also be very pleased and happy about it. There would be an amicable solution.
Okay. Yeah, very quickly coming back to today's phase three voting and moving down south to the state of Karnataka. We haven't spoken so far about Prajwal Revanna, the grandson of the former Prime Minister H.D. Devegowda. Now he's a sitting MP from Hassan constituency, and he was seeking re-election from the NDA camp, now facing very serious allegations of exploitment and harassment, and he's supposed to have fled overseas. My question to you is it going to go beyond the borders of Karnataka and going to have political implications on a national level?
No, I don't think so. It's going to go beyond the borders of Karnataka. Second thing is like our prime minister, our home minister, our, the other important cabinet ministers of the government, together with the national president of BJP, has clearly stated it and made it very clear that BJP has got nothing to do with Prajwal Ravanna's issue. And for us, the dignity and respect of the woman is paramount. And Modi ji has always spoken about development of India, which is driven by the woman, woman-oriented development, woman-driven development. And he has strongly advocated about Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao in the last 10 years. So, and the PM has been very categorical on this. The Home Minister has given categorical, statements on this. The law of the country will take its own course in relation to the Prajwal,
Okay.
Ravanna's issue. And it is for the Janata Dal Secular to fight it out with the
Yes.
Congress government there, and also with the judicial agencies and with the other law agencies of the
Hmm.
country,
Hmm.
and they will do it. BJP has got nothing to do with this, and BJP
Yeah.
will not support a criminal,
Of
no
course,
matter
that's the
of high.
political stand, and of course, the legal actions will take their own course in due time. But what I'm really talking about is the perception when I say implications or on a national level and going beyond the borders. The perception, because we've recently had the Bridge Bhushan case where Olympian wrestlers had a problem with this candidate from the BJP. So, in terms of perception, is it going to have any weightage at all?
See, in the case of Bridge Bhushan, also the law of the country is taking cognizance of the whole thing. There is a court case going on. Government of India is not a party to that court case, and neither the
Okay.
ruling party is a party to that court case. The law of the country will decide about Bridge Bhushan as such. That's one. Second thing is like the prime minister has categorically said that no criminals, and especially criminals, those who do sexual exploitation or those who exploit women would be protected under no circumstances by the PM or by the ruling government, whether
Yeah.
it's Prajwal, whether it's Brij Bhushan, or anyone XYZ for that matter. And the PM is very categorical on this. And the work which the prime minister has done for the women folk of the country, and the plethora of initiatives which he has taken, that gets reflected in what he said. It is not just a lip service which the prime minister gives when it comes to the dignity and respect and protection of
Yeah.
women's rights. It gets reflected at the ground level also. So therefore, that's the reason why I say that there won't be any kind of national ramification of this issue at the
Okay.
national level. It will remain within southern part of Karnataka, and
Okay.
Janata Dal Secular would be fighting that out. We are not an advocate of whatever has happened, and we will not
Okay.
be a party to. That's one.
Okay.
The second thing is like when it comes to the question of what the prime minister thinks and the measures which he has taken, in relation to protection of protection of dignity and self-respect of the woman. It is this prime minister only who has given, who had brought in law in the parliament
Hmm.
in relation to heinous gang rapes, so much so that in a fast court track mechanism, death sentence can be given to the culprits. It is this government which has
Yes.
done that. Under the fast track court mechanism. So now we have capital punishment for heinous rapes as well as gang rapes. And which government has brought this amendment in the law, in the criminal law? It is the government of Modi ji, which has got this,
Yeah.
So whatever the PM has said, triple talaq, another big issue, Like the
Yeah.
other parties is to run away from triple talaq. It is this government which has got in triple talaq, for the protection of the dignity and self-respect of the women, Muslim women of our country, who were victimized by the Halala Kanun and by triple talaq. So
Yeah.
this government has been very, very, very clear cut when it comes to women's issue. And the PM will not compromise on this, and that's the reason
Yeah.
there won't be any
Okay.
national reflection of all these issues.
Definitely, women-led development is also a part of the BJP manifesto. But time and again, I'm getting this sense from you that this election is all about uh, PM Modi's face and not about individual candidates on a constituency level. Because traditionally, that has also been the case since 2014 about the Lok Sabha election. It's always, fought on the face of the PM as a Modi wave, or whether you can call it Modi euphoria. But my final question to you is also that we are standing at a very interesting midpoint. Three phases have passed, the third phase is going on, and four more phases are left. How do you assess the situation for both the ruling and the opposition camps start standing here at the midpoint?
See, there are a couple of rejoinders to your questions. Let me come to them one by one. First and
I'm
foremost,
sorry. I'm sorry to cut in. I've got a very interesting question from Surjo Pratap Roy, who's asking you, will Congress ever be able to form a government in India? So quickly answer the audience's
yes.
question and then we move on to your answer.
Well, I do not see the scope of Congress ever forming the government in Bharat, not at least till Mission 247. I do not see any scope for Congress till 2047. And as long as Rahul ji is there in the helm of affairs, I think Congress is heading for bad days with every passing day. And Rahul ji, I always say, is a blessing for BJP and is a curse for Congress party. So वो वरदान है बीजेपी के लिए और वो अभिशाप है कांग्रेस पार्टी. This
Mhm.
is my own individual opinion. And
Yes.
I think Modi ji and BJP dispensation is very happy with the helm of affairs of Congress party being in the hands of Rahul Gandhi. That's one.
Okay.
Now let me come to the question one by one.
Yes.
Like in relation to a prime ministerial phase or a super powerful leader. 2004, Congress fought the election on the basis of Abla Bahu, सास ने बलिदान दी पति ने बलिदान दी my mother-in-law had given her life, my husband had given his life, and they all attained martyrdom. Sonia Gandhi went across the nook and corner of the country with this single point agenda. And who was the
Mhm.
mascot of the Congress face in 2004? It was Sonia Gandhi.
Mhm.
2009, it was not Dr. Manmohan Singh, it was again Sonia ji who was
Mhm.
in the front runner phase of 2009 election. 2014, in terms of the UPA, it was Sonia ji who was the front face and not Dr. Manmohan Singh. And from the NDA, it was Modi ji who was the front face. 2019, it was again Modi ji, and 2024, it's again Modi ji. And from the other side, from Congress, it is Rahul ji. It's not Priyanka
Mhm.
ji, or it is no longer Sonia ji, it is Rahul ji
Mhm.
who is the projected
Mhm.
front face of the Congress. So this single person as a challenge has always been a part and parcel of Indian election for the last so many decades now. So this
Okay.
is not an exception with Honorable Prime Minister.
Mhm.
Now coming to the ragtag in the opposition, they would have been a cohesive opposition if they would have a single candidate as the prime ministerial candidate against Narendra Modi. This
Okay.
India alliance, so the India alliance is an alliance of around 34 or 38 parties. Now there are 38 or 34 claimants to the prime ministerial chair. So will the voter of Bharat be foolish enough to such a ragtag kind of a opposition coalition in
Hmm.
which the prime minister might change every 1 month,
Yeah.
because there are around 34, 35 claimants for the post of prime minister. Laluji is eyeing for the post of prime ministership. Sharad Pawar is eyeing for it. Stalin is eyeing for it. Rahul ji is eyeing for it. Priyanka ji is eyeing for it.
Hmm.
Mamata Banerjee is eyeing for it. Uddhav Thackeray is eyeing for it. Name
So a
any
lot of
one of
influential
you know
regional and national leaders are
national
vying for the
leaders,
post.
and that is the reason they are not cohesive. When they are not
Okay.
cohesive, how will they challenge a super challenger like Prime Minister Modi, who has an international image and who is the number one leader at the international level? The only question which the opposition today is talking about, whether it will be 400 par or less than 400 par. Today, the
Absolutely.
opposition is not talking about 272, which is the
Hmm.
halfway mark in the Lok
But
Sabha.
but
None
but
of the
sorry to
opposition parties are
interject.
talking about.
Sorry to cut in here, but in the interest of the voters really want a strong and healthy opposition as well. Voting for Prime Minister Modi doesn't mean that the voter just wants a one-sided party or rule in India. A strong and healthy opposition is something that the voters feel will make up a good and healthy democracy.
Absolutely, absolutely. I agree with you. And that's the reason in my initial remarks itself, I had saying that I would have been happy if there would have been a cohesive opposition with a single prime ministerial candidate so that the election war or the competition in election would have been a head-on kind of a tug of war.
Hmm.
But will the prime minister or will the ruling government do anything for the opposition if they don't have a cohesive coalition? If they don't have a single prime ministerial candidate, it is not the responsibility of the ruling party or the ruling government or the present prime minister to do babysitting and uplift them.
Hmm.
They
Hmm.
are at fault. They don't have a cohesive leader. They don't have a single face of a national stature to take on the honorable prime minister. So it's the responsibility of the opposition. Why didn't the opposition, cultivate a new faith in the last 10 years as a
Hmm.
prime ministerial candidate? Who is
Absolutely.
responsible for this? It's the opposition, and it's not Narendra Modi ji or the ruling party. The ruling party will not give them a cake and make them sit in a lap and say that you take the cake with the icing, with the icing sugar. We are giving it in platter. No, no
Hmm.
ruling party would do that. Even in Bangladesh, if today, like Khalida Zia is not a major challenge for Sheikh Hasina, it is Khalida Zia who is responsible for this. It is the BNP which is responsible for this and not the Awami League, because it's
Yes.
not the responsibility of the Awami League to do babysitting for the BNP. So
Hmm.
the same logic applies here also. It is
Hmm.
not the responsibility of BJP or Modi ji to do babysitting for the opposition and make them feed from a milk bottle. We are not here to do all this for them.
So
They
for
have to
so
do
for
it.
the
If they could
opposition,
not do it, it's their fate.
so for the opposition and the ruling camps standing at this interesting midpoint, how do you assess the three phases and the next four phases that are going to go?
Well, Tulika, I have already mentioned that my understanding and my experience is that in the three phases, the past two phases, that the present phase where elections are taking place today, I think BJP will be winning almost around 200 seats out of the
Mhm.
total seats which have gone to the polls. So another 200 remains in the rest of the seats. Halfway mark polling has been done today.
Okay.
The other halfway mark, in that other halfway mark, the way elections are going, and elections will now take place in all major strong areas of BJP, of the
Yes.
Hindi heartland. So in those strong areas of the BJP, I'm sure BJP would have no match of competition from the opposition. It would be a cakewalk. So my permutation combination says that ultimately on the it would
Hmm.
be somewhere between 390 to 410 for the NDA, and
Oh.
for BJP single handedly alone. My understanding and my analysis says that it is going to be somewhere between 365 to 375 for BJP.
Oh, that's huge. Well, that brings me to the end of this discussion. But here is one more reason why I think the midpoint is really interesting, because BJP led NDA camp has to defend 80 out of 93 seats that are going to vote today, if it has to comfortably cross the 272 mark in Lok Sabha. But as Dr. Datta says, 400 par is something that is going to be an easy cakewalk for the BJP. But that it's a wrap for today's live show. Thank you so much for joining us, Dr. Dutta.
Thank you so much.
Well, it was great to have you with sir. And for our viewers, thank you for joining this live. Do feel free to connect with me on Facebook, email, or X. Till we meet next time, it's Namaste from Tulika.